आज आपको मैं एक ऐसे केस के बारे में बताऊंगा जहां पे टोरंटो पुलिस ने एक इनोसेंट आदमी को मर्डर के केस में फंसाने की कोशिश की और कोर्ट में दूध का दूध और पानी का पानी हो गया। तो चलिए आपको वीडियो की तरफ लेके चलता हूँ।
Number one, don't lie when you're testifying in court under oath. Don't commit perjury.
I'm very disappointed in today's outcome.
You were scared to death.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. On July 1st of 2021, Umar Zamir, accompanied by his wife, who was 8 months pregnant, and their 2-year-old son, visited Toronto's Nathan Phillips Square, hoping to partake in the Canada Day festivities. Their vehicle was recorded entering the parking garage at approximately 11 p.m. As they walked through the area, they encountered a man without a shirt, later identified as a stabbing victim. Shortly thereafter, the family returned to their car. Toronto Police Detective Jeffrey Northrup and Detective Lisa Forbes arrived on the scene to investigate the stabbing. Both detectives were working in their undercover capacity, wearing plain clothes instead of uniforms. After interviewing the victim and getting a description of their suspect, Detectives Northrup and Forbes descended into the parking garage.
It was a stabbing investigation that led the two plainclothes officers, Forbes and Northrup, down into the underground parking lot at Nathan Phillips Square.
Detective Forbes would later claim that she and Northrup approached Zamir's BMW, identified themselves as police officers, and attempted to question Zamir regarding the stabbing incident.
At that time, I have my badge around my neck, and I say, "Hello, police, can we talk to you?"
सबसे पहले आपको ये बताना चाहता हूँ, ये किसी भी तरह से स्टैब करने वाले तो लग ही नहीं रहे ना। वो 8 मंथ की प्रेग्नेंट थी वाइफ उसके साथ, एक बच्चा था उसके साथ। ये इनकी कोई सेंस ही नहीं बनती है उनको क्वेश्चन करने के लिए। और दूसरी बात, आपने उनकी ड्रेस देख ही ली होगी, तो कैसे कैसे उन्होंने कपड़े पहन रखे हैं। तो कोई भी सोच सकता है ये पुलिस वाले नहीं हैं, ये जस्ट फ्रॉडस्टर हैं।
He looked surprised and he jumped in his vehicle, and I thought that was odd, she said. She told the court she then walked up to the car, held her badge up against the window, and identified herself 2 more times, thinking there may be a language barrier or miscommunication. I speak slower and louder, and I say police.
हाँ, दूसरी बात इसने खुद एग्री किया है, देयर वाज ए लैंग्वेज बैरियर। जिस आदमी को इंग्लिश नहीं आती है तो कनाडा में आके किसी को स्टैब कर देगा बिना किसी वजह से। तो ये इन्वेस्टिगेशन शुरू से ही रेसिस बेस पे थी, हालांकि उन इनोसेंट पीपल का कोई लेना देना ही नहीं था। ये पता ही नहीं है कि मेरे को ये क्यों डम पुलिस वालों ने अप्रोच किया उन लोगों को।
Down your window.
She further alleged that Zamir accelerated the vehicle, driving it directly into Detective Northrup, fatally striking him before attempting to flee the scene.
Jeff raises his hand and puts them out up in front with his palms out. At this point, it's more of a plea, and the car accelerates and it hits Jeff and it sends him flying backwards, she said.
The only problem, Zamir and his wife recounted a different version of events. Zamir stated that as they entered their vehicle, a man and woman in plain clothes rushed towards their vehicle, banging on the windows. Both Zamir and his wife feared that they were being targeted for a robbery or some other.
बिल्कुल सही बात है, ऐसा हर आदमी सोचेगा, क्योंकि वो ड्रेस में तो थे ही नहीं, यूनिफॉर्म में नहीं थे। और जैसी उन्होंने ड्रेस पहन रखी थी वो तो चेहरे से ही लुटेरे लगते हैं। पुलिस वाले तो वर्दी पहन के ही लुटेरे लगते हैं। अभी तो सभी आपके सामने ही हैं।
Both Zamir and his wife, Ada Sheikh, were called to testify. They described a very chaotic scene after being approached by a man and a woman. Zamir said he mistakenly thought the 2 officers were criminals because of the way they were dressed and the way they were acting. Sheikh said she thought they were trying to rob them and she thought they were going to kill them.
You were scared to death. And I thought that's it. That's our life. It's done.
Zamir's wife claimed that she had noticed a badge on Detective Forbes, but believed that it was fake, while Zamir said he never saw a badge at all.
They both claimed that officers Forbes and Northrup never identified themselves as police. Sheikh said she saw Forbes' badge but thought it was fake. Zamir said he didn't see a badge on either of the officers.
As Zamir attempted to drive forward, an unmarked dark gray police van blocked his path, prompting him to reverse in an effort to leave.
Zamir said he was scared and tried to drive away, but was blocked by a dark-colored van that pulled in front of his car. He said he did not know it was an unmarked police van. With officers Northrup and Forbes still banging on the car, ordering him to stop and get out, Zamir said he made the decision to reverse out of his parking spot to get away.
But upon reaching the exit, Zamir found both pathways obstructed by white vehicles. The unmarked police van then collided with the rear of Zamir's BMW, and two new plainclothes men emerged from the vehicle. They then drew their sidearms and approached Zamir's car.
The van hit them with enough force to deploy both of its airbags. According to Zamir, two armed men emerged from the van and ordered him and his wife out of the car at gunpoint. Neither of the men were wearing police uniforms either.
The two white vehicles then proceeded through the parking gate. The driver of one of those vehicles later testified that he too feared for his life when two armed men exited the van, thinking they
सो आपने देखा सिर्फ वो ज़मीर और उसकी वाइफ ने नहीं ऐसा सोचा और बाकी सभी लोग भी वो देखो बैरिकेड तोड़ के वो भाग निकले क्योंकि उनको भी लगा ये कोई रॉबरी केस है.
intending to kill Zamir. He reported to the courts that he didn't see any indication of police presence in the parking garage.
Both of the white vehicles parked at the pay stations crashed through the parking gate to escape. The driver of one of those cars later testified he was scared and thought the two armed men were going to kill them. He said he didn't see any police in the parking garage. At some point, the two armed men put on police vests. Zamir and his wife both testified that they told them they didn't know they were police officers and said they were scared, which is why they were trying to get away.
After Zamir and his family were removed from their car and Zamir was handcuffed, he claimed that one of the men pointed to blood on the vehicle, asserting that it was from his partner's brain. Zamir also alleged that that same officer struck him in the face while he was restrained.
ब्रेन तो हो ही नहीं सकता क्योंकि वो क्या बोलूँ मैं ब्रेन तो हो ही नहीं सकता क्योंकि उसके पास था ही नहीं. अगर होता तो ऐसे नहीं करता वो रिएक्ट या whatever.
He was subsequently arrested and charged with first-degree murder.
First-degree murder.
बताओ फर्स्ट डिग्री मर्डर पे उसको चार्ज कर लिया हालांकि ये क्लियर कट एक्सीडेंट का केस था.
Just to bring people back into the courtroom is that he must, and he did know that it was a police officer that he was running over. That's what takes a murder, such a second-degree murder where there's an intention to kill or recklessness as to whether death will ensue. If it's a police officer, that immediately elevates it to first-degree murder. You don't need planned and deliberate the way you do in other cases that don't involve a police officer.
So again, because it's a police officer who dies in the line of duty, it's a first-degree murder.
Chief James Raymer issued a public statement regarding Detective Northrup's death, describing it as an intentional, deliberate act. Zamir would spend the next 3 months in jail, away from his family.
He missed the birth of his second child, his first daughter, while he was in custody on these charges before we were able to get him a bail hearing.
Zamir was later released on $335,000 bail with
$3.5 लाख की बेल हुई उसकी.
additional conditions, including electronic monitoring. This development prompted outrage from several politicians who voiced their displeasure on X.
Opposition leaders demanding an apology for a tweet Premier Doug Ford sent almost 3 years ago. This is beyond comprehension, he wrote. It's completely unacceptable that the person responsible for this heinous crime is now out on bail. Our justice system needs to get its act together and start putting victims and their families first.
अच्छा ये था टोरंटो का प्रीमियर डग फोर्ड. इसने भी सच्चाई जाने बिना ही अपने दिमाग के घोड़े भगा के स्टेटमेंट दे दिया और उसको क्रिमिनल ठहरा दिया.
Mayor John Tory stated, "Our city continues to mourn the loss of Constable Northrup. It is almost inconceivable that an accused individual in a first-degree murder case would be granted bail. Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown expressed his frustration, stating, "This is disgusting. It is deeply troubling that the person charged with this heinous crime is now free on bail." Brampton Council has been advocating for federal bail reform, and this case exemplifies why change is urgently needed. During the trial, Detective Forbes and 2 other officers testified, presenting a consistent narrative. Northrop was standing directly in front of Zamir when Zamir...
अच्छा, ये यहाँ पे सबसे बड़ा पुलिस वालों ने, दोनों ने पुलिस वालों ने झूठ बोला कि वो सामने खड़े थे। जो अंडर कवर पुलिस वाला था वो कार के आगे खड़ा था, बट इट इज़ उसके बाद जब इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुई तो पता चला वो आगे बिल्कुल भी नहीं खड़ा था।
intentionally ran him over.
The 3 police officers who provided eyewitness testimony told court that Northrop was standing in the middle of the laneway.
I'm sorry, 2 नहीं 3 पुलिस ऑफिसर थे जिन्होंने बिल्कुल क्लियर कट कोर्ट में झूठ अंडर ओथ कसम खा के झूठ बोला इन्होंने।
For he was fatally struck.
However, the evidence painted a different picture. Video footage captured from the parking garage showed Zamir reversing his vehicle with no one in front of his car as he drove away. Accident reconstruction specialists engaged.
तो ये टर्निंग पॉइंट था केस का, जब जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसीज थी उन्होंने फाइंड आउट किया कि वो बिल्कुल भी कार के आगे नहीं खड़ा था। ये सब लोग झूठ बोल रहे हैं।
By both the Crown and the defense offered assessments that contradicted the officers' testimonies.
2 collision reconstruction experts, one for the Crown and one for the defense, refuted that evidence. Both testified that Northrop had been sideswiped by Zamir's front fender as it swung out in reverse, which caused him to fall to the ground and be in Zamir's blind zone before he drove forward.
Zamir stated that he didn't see Northrop, but felt something akin to driving over a speed bump as he tried to escape. It later emerged that the 3 deputies who testified had drafted their accounts of the incident together in the same room, raising questions about the consistency of their statements.
The defense alleged the officers repeatedly lied under oath, a claim also echoed by the judge who warned the jury to watch out for possible collusion.
Zamir's trial concluded in the summer of 2024, and as jury deliberations began, Ontario Superior Court Justice Anne Malloy instructed the jurors, during which she admonished the prosecution and the police, stating first that there is no evidence that fully supported the Crown's theory. 2, the video clearly shows that Officer Northrop was not standing upright in the lane when he was struck and run over, despite the identical claims made by 3 police witnesses. And finally, when 3 identical versions of an event are demonstrably wrong, you must consider the possibility of collusion among the witnesses. All of the officers denied collusion.
Justice Anne Malloy is extremely experienced. She was the trial judge on Manassian, which of course the city of Toronto is familiar with. So she knows what she's doing here. And I think the problem is that the evidence that the prosecution tried to muster was really contradicted.
When the jury returned, Zamir was acquitted of all charges. Justice Malloy offered Zamir an apology.
हाँ, तो अभी जो जज थी उसने सभी चार्जेस को खारिज कर दिया और माफ़ी भी मांगी। हालांकि इसमें जज का कोई कसूर तो था नहीं, वो पुलिस वाले अभी भी अपनी वो झूठी स्टोरी पे कायम हैं।
Before the judge left, she looked at Mr. Zamir and said, "You're free to go. My deepest apologies for what you've been through."
After his acquittal, he shared his thoughts on the ordeal.
I never meant any of this to happen. I am sorry for what had happened, but I never meant any of this to happen to this day. I can't thank enough to Mr. Nadir, Mr. Alex. I can just say this, these are not just the lawyers, these are angels for me. They worked not just for this case, we worked for the truth. When Nadir first came to me, when I was in the detention center, and I asked him, how would you pursue, how would you go with my case? He said, I know it's very complex, but I know I'm dealing with the truth, and I won't leave you by your side. Just before the verdict, he only said me one thing: no matter what the verdict will come, I will be with your side. Now, later, and always been with. So Nadia, thank you very much. Alex, thank you very much. She is someone who not just gave me the advice of lawyers, who has been giving me advices on so many other issues. And Alex, I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nadia. And I can't thank enough the whole Canada. I thought I and Ida made a wrong decision when we thought we should go to Canada. It's a better place for our kids. But I think today I see that Canada didn't let injustice to happen. So I thank Canada. Thank you very much.
Nadir Hassan, Zamir's attorney, offered some pointed advice to both the police and prosecutors.
Well, number one, don't lie when you're testifying.
अरे यार किन को समझा रहे हो? ये सुधरेंगे नहीं ये. Don't worry about that.
In court under oath, don't commit perjury, and don't put up witnesses who commit perjury. I think those are three important lessons to be learned here.
Margaret Northrup, the widow of the deceased, expressed her disappointment following Zamir's acquittal, lamenting that all she had sought was accountability, suggesting she preferred to see an innocent man imprisoned because of her husband's actions.
I would like to start off by thanking the Crown's Michael Cantlin and Karen Simone, and the lead investigator, Jeff Allington. I wouldn't have gotten through this process without the unwavering support from Chief Nemke, all of the Toronto Police Service, John Reid, and the Toronto Police Association. I am very disappointed.
हाँ बिल्कुल bunch of liars.
In today's outcome. From day one, all I've wanted is accountability. We miss Jeff every day. However, we continue on with him in our hearts, never to be forgotten. A hero in life, not death.
When asked about the possibility of Zamir pursuing legal action following his acquittal, Nadir Hassan stated that they had been so focused on the trial that they had not yet discussed any future steps.
Can you ask me if your client could sue anyone what he's been through? Is that something that is that a possibility? I'm not a lawyer.
We haven't even.
So thank you very much for watching. प्लीज़ मुझे बताना आपका आपकी क्या फीलिंग्स है इसके बारे में. प्लीज़ कमेंट, एंड इससे मुझे पता चलेगा कि मैं सही कर रहा हूँ या नहीं, और जो भी कर रहा हूँ उसमें आप लोगों की कुछ हेल्प या आपको कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलती हो. सो थैंक यू फॉर वाचिंग वंस अगेन.